The Canadian Bowl is coming up shortly, and we're down to the Final Four in the CJFL. Hey guys, it's Dominic Abassi here for the British Columbia Football Conference, and I'm now joined by Jamie Ybarra and Quinton from the Vancouver Island Raiders. And guys, I see you have some nice bit of hardware to stop by at your house these days.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's still here, to be honest. But
I was gonna say, how do you guys get that? Just 22-year-olds? You commandeered the thing, or?
Don't tell anyone.
I don't actually know if anybody knows it's here right now, but we haven't been in any rush to tell anyone. It's been nice to wake up to every morning, that's for sure.
I guess let's start there with the BC final, the Cohen Cup game. I mean, everybody except for you guys believed you were these huge underdogs, and nobody saw this result coming. I don't get the feeling like that's how you guys felt going into the game.
Yeah, no, honestly, I felt even from since bye week, we've been kind of getting on a little roll and starting to figure stuff out, and the kind of offense and defense and everything has started to get clicking and start to move. And for the past 3 weeks, defense has been lights out, been able to make sure that our offense is in the opportunity to win games. So, yeah, we felt very confident going into that final game, and the momentum was right for us, and we knew what we needed to do to be successful.
Quinton, was there a point in that game, and especially with the way that your defense was playing, where you guys thought, yeah, we have this, there's no way they're going to be able to come back on us? Was there a moment where it kind of went off in your head?
In my head, no, because there's 50 seconds left. I remember there was 50 seconds left in the game, and I was still yelling at the guys that we might still have to go in. So in my head, I was like, no, we haven't won it yet. But once they took the last knee, I was like, yeah, we're champions. So it's pretty sweet.
To get your hands on that Cohen Cup, to lift that thing, and I mean, that's one thing. But then to do it in the Island rivalry and to beat the West Shore Rebels after they'd gotten a bit of a winning streak on you guys as well, try and just describe it to me, what that was like, the experience, and maybe what that bus ride was like, as far as what you can share, maybe legally anyways.
Well, the bus ride there was very serious. It was very good. Playing in that stadium is always going to be something that's kind of, I don't want to say intimidating, but very intense. You know, it's kind of the whole atmosphere is very intimate, and especially the rivalry between West Shore and us is always very loud and very hectic, and especially with the rain, that just kind of added another denominator to it that we weren't kind of really hoping for, but it was there. So both teams had to play in it, so you kind of deal with it. But the atmosphere was an atmosphere that you couldn't have expected anything more. It was exactly what you wanted it to be between the Island rivalry, and to have that kind of craziness happen in the Cohen Cup. It was exactly what I was hoping for. And yeah, the bus ride home was a good one as well. It's an hour and a half, which seemed to be a perfect amount of time to be on a bus with a bunch of dudes that just want a Cohen Cup. So,
guys, I wouldn't call it sort of trash talking, but the bulletin board stuff was out there. The Rebels, and from their coach to their players, they were pretty much adamant it was their trophy, and they were going to go in and get the win and walk out of there with it. How much of that did you guys hear, and what kind of effect did it have?
I didn't hear that much trash talk, honestly.
We do a very good job on in the NIMO of making sure that we only focus on our business, and the only thing that we're really focused on is the task currently at hand. So even now, we're focused on Thursday night practice right now, and that's how it was all last week. We don't really concern ourselves with what goes on Facebook, what goes on Twitter, what other teams are saying. All we've really focused on all year is what's going on in the VI Raiders football club.
Wow. Coach Hawk has you guys trained well. You sound exactly like him, I'll tell you that.
It's not my first time with Coach Hawk.
Let's look ahead now, and the Saskatoon Hilltops going to the prairies. I saw a picture on their Twitter feed of them practicing in the snow, so obviously a little different than what we're seeing out here on Vancouver Island right now. What are some of the first thoughts that go through your head when you think about playing the Saskatoon Hilltops in a game of this magnitude?
I'm jacked up. I've unfortunately been on the losing end of a few Saskatoon Hilltops games with my time.
You're not alone there, though.
Yeah, with my time with the Rifles, and I played in that stadium before, and I've played in prairie football weather. So has he. We've grown up there. By the time October hits, if you're not playing in a foot of snow, something's wrong. So I know we got a lot of guys on our team that are prepared and that have kind of played in those conditions, and we are preparing the guys that maybe not have, those island guys and maybe some of the lower mainland guys from Vancouver, that it's going to be just as intense as you'd expect it to be when we go play West Shore or anything like that. Saskatoon's got a great kind of following. They've got a great thing going on there, and it's going to be a game that you're going to remember for a long time.
What is it about prairie football, and in particular Saskatoon Hilltops football, that it makes them so hard to beat? I mean, that's just the reality of it. I know you guys are focused on yourself, but the Hilltops franchise year after year, and especially against BC opponents, continues to just have their way. What is it about them? What makes them such a strong team and a strong program in your mind?
Well, they've kind of got it all figured out there with how to make sure that they've got players there for the full 5 years. So they've got guys that have been in the system for 3 or 4 years before they even see the field. So when you get that kind of loyalty to the team where people can start rolling, it becomes very dangerous. And that's when you get a dynasty and that sort of thing. So obviously they've done a very good job of making sure that everything that is on their team stays internal and that they don't have players leaving or anything, and that they got that 5-year commit. And that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed, is that they've just got guys that are stepping up in their first year starting on that team that look like they've been starting for 4 years because they've been in that kind of system for so long.
Quinton, you're from Winnipeg, and so what's the buzz? What's the talk about the Hilltops like outside of Saskatoon? Is it an envy thing? Is it a hatred thing? I mean, I think back to what the Raiders were like when they were rolling, in 2006, 2008, and 9. Everyone seemed to hate them. Is that the same sort of attitude right now towards the Hilltops, especially in maybe some prairie towns?
Probably. I guess everyone wants to be a winner, right? Everyone wants to win. So I guess there's probably a little hatred. There's probably a little envy. But they still have to give respect, right? These guys have done it all. Everyone wants to be a winner. That's the biggest thing. So yeah, there's probably a little hatred. I see it.
Being 22 years old, and both of you guys, how does that change sort of anything? I mean, to know that we're right down to the wire here, and it could be 2, it could be 1, and that's going to be it for you guys. I mean, for both of you guys, how does it sort of weigh in your minds and change your perspectives?
This year entirely has been very interesting for me, and I've had to go through a lot of ups and downs through it. And kind of about halfway through the season, I just kind of decided that this was time to soak it all in. 5th year is the time to just kind of enjoy what's happening, kind of take advantage of every opportunity, and kind of seize every moment when it's there. So it's been a very I haven't really thought on the whole negative end of that aspect. I'm just kind of living in the moment, enjoying every snap, every play, every day, and just kind of going through that. It's 5th year. We've kind of accepted our role on the team to help lead and make sure that everyone's prepared, just like we were in our rookie year when we had to go to the national championship, and we had our 5th years preparing us and making sure that we were kind of level-headed and everything. So we've just kind of, I think, from my point of view anyway, we've been trying our best to make sure everyone's prepared for people that maybe not have had these experiences or these opportunities.
Quinton, what's the number one teaching point you're trying to share with your defense going into a game like this?
We always got to be on the attack. We always just got to be on the attack. We got to be dialed in. We got to be focused. We got a saying where 72 degrees and a cool breeze. We just got to focus on us. That's been our motto all year. Just focusing on us. Just always being on the attack. Never playing down to their level. Always trying to just go up and up and up and be the best we can be.
I got to ask real quick, going back to the Cohen Cup, have you ever seen a rookie running back who weighs, I don't know, 130 pounds maybe? I mean, come on. And a punter have that kind of an impact on a game and really take a game over? That was one of the most unique things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I've never been in a football game where the punter has been such a huge and dynamic part of that team. And every time he could kick the ball, I'd watch it through the air, and the perfect spiral that it was almost every single punt that he kicked off. Or the punt.
You'd think that would have made it easier to catch.
That's what I thought, but I don't know. Nick's got some magical way of making sure that people don't know how to catch his punts. And it's in the past, even like 3 weeks, even in Okanagan, some of those drop punts were some of the biggest plays that we had in those games. So special teams this year has been absolutely huge. Xander Bailey's kind of stepped in for Rhett, and he's kind of done his job and made sure that we can still have that ground game, and our O-line's been picking it up too. So yeah, like I said before, everything's just kind of clicking on all cylinders, and we're starting to feel real good right now.
Quinton, is that a Raiders helmet behind you as well there?
Yeah.
How long did you guys spend putting that display together? That's what I want to know.
We planned it out all day. We were like, how are we gonna play in the house? And we figured, I think this is pretty nice.
Yeah, I
It
know.
is. I mean,
This is my old helmet that I used to talk to for anyone that watches my old interviews. But yeah, super great.
You should see. He spent 20 minutes putting up a shrine.
Yeah, we got a
Quinton and
shrine.
Jamie here as
Yeah, we
well.
wow.
Good.
This is incredible stuff, you guys.
We're accepting tours if anyone wants to come to the house.
Guys, tell me a little bit about sort of your relationship. I mean, you can see it here. You guys are incredibly close. I think, best friends is a pretty easy word to put on it. And for Q, I'll start with you. With everything that Jamie's been through this year and obviously the scare at the start of the year, what's it been like for you, this dynamic between the two of you this year?
A lot. It's been a lot, man. Ever since we were, I don't know, yay high. He was the one that gave me my first football jersey ever. He was my first best friend, my first football best friend. And then ever since that day, I've always looked up to him in a way because he always knew what he was doing. He always had the eye on the prize. And when all this stuff happened to him this year, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? And he kept being positive, kept moving forward, And it was just that's how I want to carry myself. Every time I step on the field, put on those cleats, it's like I look at my best friend and we look at each other and I got you, dude, Wow. Every time I play football, it's always for my family, and he's definitely my brother from another year.
Well said. Very well said. Jamie, look at the smile on your face.
I don't know. He always does this every time. He gets so sentimental, and I got to try and keep it cool.
Yeah. You guys, I really appreciate this. I should let you guys run and get ready for practice here tonight, but enjoy it. I mean, just soak it in and enjoy the trip, and bring that national championship home to BC. I think a lot of people, maybe everyone except West Shore, is hoping for that right now.
Yeah, we'll do our best. Thanks for having us here, and we're off to go prepare some more. It's been a hectic week, but we're ready to go, and it's going to be fun heading back to the prairies and have some fun playing some football.
Oh, yeah.
Quinton Bowles, Jamie Ybarra, thanks, guys. The VI Raiders heading out to the prairies to take on the Saskatoon Hilltops with a berth in the Canadian Bowl on the line. This is Dominic Abassi for the BCFC.